But like the other shit, I think that that's interesting. Fuck, I totally forgot where I was going. What's going to happen is Patrick is going to take that and he's going to like open the show with it of me fucking choking and forgetting what I'm talking about. Just wait. That's what he's going to do because that's the type of motherfucker that he is. But with the first episode, I did kind of want to introduce us and say a little bit about ourselves. You know, I'm Trevor Strnad. I'm the singer for the Black Dahlia Murder. I've been a contributing writer with Metal Injection, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
not who you are at all. You're completely lying. That's him. What are you
the other guy.
Did you hear what he just said?
But like, I feel like, you know, obviously people fucking know, people are going to know who Trevor is. What's up out there, guys?
I'm sorry, do I know you?
It's your boy. I am Death Metal Radio.
Schuler?
What is up? What's up, everybody? It's Schuler from Death Metal Radio. I am joined today by Mr. Patrick Bruss, production extraordinaire of the death metal underworld. And, of course, with us is the mouthpiece of one of the greatest death metal bands currently going, born and bred, raised in the scene, as big a fan as he is an artist, Mr. Trevor Strnad of the Black Dahlia Murder. Fellas, let's talk shit. Let's chew some fat, and let's see what comes up.
Now that's what I call a goddamn intro. This man's a professional.
Does that make...
I think you still need to crank your mic input there, Trevor.
Is this it? Am I up all the way?
Oh,
that's
shit.
That's it,
is.
baby. See,
I'm here.
Now we
there you go. Oh, now you sound perfect. Hey, how's hot Atlanta?
It's hot. Well, it's getting hot.
Yeah,
I wore shorts out today, man.
Bust out them Speedos.
I'm about to. I'm about to just wear a leaf around over my dick.
Ooh, baby.
Don't you? Where's your kilt, Patrick?
At the dry cleaner.
Wouldn't you like to know?
Obviously. That to me was one of the most striking things about the first time that we Zoomed together. I thought, this is a motherfucker who wears a kilt around the house and he's serious about it.
Okay, now I understand that's not your usual behavior, but it's
so
fun.
What kind of underwear you got going on under there?
Yeah, I gotta know.
I'm a boxer briefs guy. I don't go with that traditional garbage. I don't know.
I like the boxer. I like the boxer briefs as well because I got fat
I'm a boxer
legs.
brief too.
Yeah, I gotta have.
We're all on the same page here. I got a little sweaty just now. I was putting together a cat tower. Boy, was that labor intensive.
Oh man,
that just sounds like it smells bad.
Dude, Georgia heat, Atlanta,
yeah.
like the fucking, so the topography is different from Columbia, South Carolina, where I just spent the last, like, God, fucking 6 or 7 years, but they get an equal kind of hot. It's just this ridiculously humid, like, stale, sweltering, it's literally like being inside of a mouth.
Crazy good hip-hop scene. Crazy
good.
I
for sure. I want to dip my toes in that for sure.
There's bands. There's bands there too, are there not? Like, didn't
we got like Father Befouled, Boris Records. So like Cloak is from here. Mangled, Cemetery Filth.
Right on.
Yeah,
nice.
I didn't know they were there either. Oh, you got to hang out with the Father Befouled dude.
Yeah, dude. I met Homeboy a few times.
Is that fucking extermination, dismemberment?
I was just going to comment on that, dude. You're the most slaminous.
Fucking
you have no idea how much forethought I put into what shirt I'm going to display to you two.
Well,
I've only got 4 to pick from right now. So
we're on video.
Oh, really?
I forget. So now we got to make sure.
All my shit is still in the truck, man. Moving truck. We got into like a tiff with, and supposed to be here this weekend.
They're fucking you on purpose by not delivering it?
Well, I think at first I think that was the thing because we were God. Yeah. Anyway, but it's all good. Man. Gonna get my shit back.
Good.
Gonna wear a different shirt. Like I'm so neurotic about it. Like I won't be caught without a metal shirt. Like it's just
same.
It's part of like what makes me want to go out and be seen by people, even or like report to humanity. You know,
band t-shirts are my biggest motivation to like stay in some kind of decent shape because I got all these fucking larges that I want to be into. Motherfuckers are like, I want beach abs for the summer.
Bro,
I'm trying to fit in this fucking Intuned Uprising shirt.
I got garbage bags full of larges that I dream about getting back into someday.
Dude, that's the fucking dream. And those things never go out of style.
The first metal shirt that I had a bunch of Metallica shirts. That was my first metal shirts. That was the only shit that was available. I had a bunch of those Pusshead Metallica shirts that were awesome.
I love that art though, man. I still
Pusshead is still amazing. Like nobody else looks like him. Nobody talks about him anymore. It's kind of like Metallica swallowed him up. You know, before Metallica, he had his own band.
The Crust Punk,
He did some artwork for 16. Yeah, 16 had some Pusshead artwork. 16 is a band. They are one of my One of my very favorite bands. It's actually the only band.
What style are we talking
The
about?
only
I
band
know that
tattoo
logo.
that I have. Yeah,
Oh, okay, I know that logo.
There is no light at the end of the tunnel. That's what that says around the circle.
Well, clearly they were wrong for you, sir.
I don't know, man. We're still in the tunnel, baby.
Terrible. I got my shit.
That sucks.
I need my shit.
Yeah, that's
it's
such a naked
educational
feeling.
though. It is. It's weird. It's weird because like it's mostly because like the collection's gone right now.
Yeah.
You know what I
Oh
mean?
man.
Like, all my stupid kid stuff that like no one else could care nearly as much about as me, or maybe you guys could, but like the average person is not going to give a motherfuck about that.
Man, I have to be. I've moved so much in my life. I find it to be so stressful. It really is one of the most stressful things in the world.
When I see that shirt and I can't reach for the band of the shirt, it fucks me up. I need to be able to reach the collection. So like you have an extermination dismemberment shirt on right now, and that means I have to hold one of those.
I can't grab the record off my shelf, man. It's not here. Shelf's not here.
I want to sniff that motherfucker.
Extermination dismemberment is in the fucking truck.
It's fucking lame, man.
For me, I need horror books around me. Whenever I move, I have a box of horror paperbacks from the 80s that I have to, like I could live 6 weeks with just those.
I should have brought some of those. That would have been the move.
Do you sniff them? Do you sniff them too?
Oh, Christ, of course, yes. Of course.
It's weird.
Those smell weird, right? Like musty.
Yeah.
Oh, musty.
A different smell.
They do smell a lot like the old shop I bought them in. I really am very attached to books in the same way I'm attached to music.
I do feel like one of the fun conversations that will continuously come up on this little podcast is our collector's nature. And one of the things that's weird to me, but it's something that I've been dealing with my entire life, but it's still kind of strange. It's just how much smells are attached to how much I love the records and the CDs and the fucking books that I collect. I will crack a fucking case open and just sit there and sniff that shit like it's fine.
The one that like sticks out in my mind is when I bought Down Nola and opened it. I had that, like,
is that a digipack?
No, but it had that kind of like textured like construction.
Oh
type
yeah,
paper.
I love that shit. Yeah, that shit always smells very specific. Yeah,
it had like the Superdome print on the CD.
Right.
I remember when I first got that too, man. I fucking love.
Or like
that
smelling your
so
school
much.
schedule, like in fucking
Fast Times. Thundercats. Whenever a little kid, a memory I have is like opening Thundercat packages and just being like, oh, it's fantastic.
I can still smell Garbage Pail Kids and taste Garbage Pail Kids gum. I still know exactly what it smells and tastes like.
See, now that
it's got to still be out there, right? Like just
surely
fossilized by now.
Well, all those
but it
smells,
wouldn't be chewable.
and the smells go away,
bro.
Like
Dinosaurs Attack. That definitely led me toward the macabre as a kid. That was one of the first
were amazing
glimpses of blood and guts. I was like, yo.
Is that I saw somebody post about those like on Twitter not too long. It was you. Okay, yeah. I'd never seen those before, and I was like, man, no, I'd never heard them
dude. There's like
now.
So gory and so like out of control. So
it was the Garbage Pail Kids people, and it was a lot of the same artists. They were kind of a sequel to the Mars Attacks cards, which were really gory and cool and stuff. But the Dinosaurs Attacks took it to a whole new level. It was
those came with gum, right? I think that's how I got on this.
Yeah, but who gives a shit? Yeah,
gum.
Like the gum
we gotta get it and eat the old gum, dude. Let's just eat the old gum and see what happens.
Those YouTube channels where like a dude finds like an MRE from like World War I. It's like, let's crack her open and see what's in there. YouTube channel that's just chewing old like card gum because there'll be an audience for it. You can make that a fucking OnlyFans.
I'm such a fucking idiot that I took MREs on tour on my first tour.
Yeah, but from which war?
You did it for the troops.
Like, just gonna mix up my stew and pour in this little chemical agent that's gonna warm it up.
That you crack and put it in there. Yeah, man.
Give me that shit for a while. Sodium speedball.
Yeah, it's like, and there's a little bottle of Tabasco in everyone, and there's like a little tiny Hershey's bar.
But you guys are talking about new MREs that they manufacture.
Right, like I'm not talking about the
ones that you open with a key or whatever.
Me and my idiot friends, Jeff Priest and Nolan Willett, we went to the Army Surplus.
The combination pawn shop and Army Surplus store.
Yeah, we bought a bunch of Vietnam era MREs.
Holy shit.
This was like in the early 90s, and we ate them.
Yeah.
And my dad, he kind of walked in on us doing it. We were like in the backyard eating them, and he's like, "Are these MREs?" Like, yeah. He's like, "What are you doing?" Like he was a veteran, and he was like,
"Why would you choose this life?"
There were these dehydrated peaches that were in one of them, and
that shit lasts forever.
It open I was chewing on it, and he's like, "You're supposed to put that in water. You're fucked. You're like you just plugged yourself up for a month, buddy. So good luck." So, like I was sick forever.
So like the peach, like blew up in your stomach.
Exactly.
I love
everyone
that,
else around me to see this.
the atmosphere of this was like you guys sneaking into the backyard to like smoke a joint or something. But
Yeah,
it's not.
yeah.
It's like eating a
No,
fucking
he was
MRE.
pretending he was in the shit, dude. Like,
Yeah, there was some
out
of
there
that.
on the
very
like,
edge.
I buried myself and I laid in it for a week.
I was
Me and my
obsessed with Rambo,
friends.
First Blood. So, yeah, we all love
there was
Rambo. In those
lots of playing army as a kid for me too.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, guns and death and blood. It was
Guns
fun. It was a
everywhere.
blast.
Yep, guns everywhere.
Yeah, thank God it's coming back, guys. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Let me tell you something, man. I've got a delivery out right now from Russia,
no.
and I do believe that it's going to be the last one for a while.
Political implications of wearing this shirt were completely lost on me. I didn't even think about it. I was just, oh yeah, I'm gonna wear my.
Who you siding with, man? What is
No.
this?
I'm siding with the Slam.
You're kind of you're
Wherever
in
the
middle
slams
there.
are.
They're
Wherever
from
the Slams are, there go I.
Extermination Dismemberment is in Belarus. Maybe they can.
Dude,
Maybe
yeah,
they can
true.
give us.
We
some-
played out there once, man. That was wild.
You played in Belarus? Where'd you play?
Wow.
Like fucking Minsk? Probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
And dude, we had to go through like all these checkpoints between countries, like in this Sprinter van, and there was like 8 points of like it was like this weird maze, dude, and people with machine guns everywhere.
Holy
and,
shit.
like, that was a wild leg of a tour right there. Let me tell you.
I'm pretty sure
But,
that Belarus is labeled as the last European dictatorship for now. So like it's interesting to sort of think about bands, driving through these areas and playing shows and shit like that, and sort of the protocols that you got to go through to get over the border.
Sure,
Yeah,
man.
I mean,
it's definitely interesting for sure.
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful place and such beautiful people. It sucks that it's so
It's-
clamped down.
and
To
such-
me, that's like a fantasy area of the world. I just love the landscape and the always
Eastern
gray
Bloc?
skies.
Like
Yeah, there you go, the Eastern Bloc. Yeah, I
like
like
the
these. I
Urals and-
romanticize the Eastern Bloc for some reason. I always have. I've dated some Eastern Bloc women. I find them to be incredibly
There you go.
beautiful. And,
Eastern Bloc Slam is also
Yeah, we
fucking
could,
solid.
we could get out to Chernobyl and like,
Find you a lady
fantasize
there.
live it
about
on the
that.
super cheap.
That's right.
I fantasized a lot about
You could
Chernobyl.
find a two-headed woman.
The-
Three
got the
tits,
wolves-
Pat.
Chernobyl. I don't know. There's something about that landscape in that place that I love, but apparently it's just you can't go out there and have fun.
Dude, I took the night train a few times from Moscow to St. Petersburg.
Yeah.
And we took it with Rotten Sound, and they were making me drink this weird little, like, I don't know what it was called. I think really dark licorice tasting.
Yeah.
And I got shit-faced.
Like you want Vrapunska. Let me guess. It's going to taste like black licorice
Dude,
again.
I mean, when I came to the next morning, my bandmates were like, you pissed in the hallway, and they didn't like it. So I went out, and I was like talking to the steward, the ladies. I was like, hey, do you remember me? They're like, yes. I'm like, do you hate me? And they're like, yes.
You had to clean up your urine.
It was only like, it came out to be like $50 US. Like, so, as far as like, it was almost worth it. You know what I mean?
Just to have the story of pissing on the night train.
Jesus Christ! Oh, on the night train. This is like this is your Burt Kreischer the Machine story.
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of, yeah. That was cool playing with those guys, obviously.
Why is it that
Disgusting.
all weird mystery liquors that somebody from some region or some culture offers you, why do they all taste like black licorice? No matter what it is. You want some Malort? Black licorice.
Oh,
You
dude,
want some
Malort.
absinthe? Black licorice.
Don't even say Malort to me anymore.
Man,
I never
I just had it the
drank
first
that.
time.
I'd never
really?
even heard of it until recently when a bunch of people were posting about it on Twitter, and apparently it's just fucking vile, which
it
Oh,
is.
yeah.
Oh God,
It is,
I don't know what they were going for. Like,
Wasn't that
know,
the
like-
point though? Wasn't the guy like, I'm gonna make some shit? I think I read something where he was like, I'm gonna make some shit that almost nobody can drink, and that
He's
way
like,
when people can't
my
drink
kids
it, they're like
aren't
fucking
gonna
brothers.
fucking, skim off the top of this fucker.
or if they do, you're gonna know because they're gonna.
Dude,
it's gonna be on their
seriously, like,
face.
you can sip that, and I swear you could just like breathe fire like right afterwards. No
That
doubt.
sounds
in my
terrible.
mind.
Well, Ross Sewage on Twitter was saying that
loves
he
it.
unironically likes it, and I mean, if you've tried it, Schiller, you wouldn't even comprehend that statement. I mean, it's kind of
I'll
like
pass.
all the worst elements of absinthe if you've ever had that.
Yeah,
back
it's
in the
got an
day.
absinthe thing
It's,
too.
it's like the
definitely.
worst parts of absinthe.
Yeah.
And you
It
know what
tastes-
a chartreuse is from New Orleans?
No.
Chartreuse
know.
is very similar as well. See, that's what I'm saying. All these nasty, bad cultural drinks, they all have a strong black licorice flavor for some reason. And they all act like they don't know that they're doing that. I
Isn't
don't know
it
what that is.
crazy how Jägermeister basically rebranded itself as a metal drink and it worked?
Yeah, like
Harry King.
I think he drinks that like water. He just has like those machines
got a
installed
camel
everywhere he
pack
goes.
on.
Yeah.
He's on the commercial where he's like competing with fencers or people that actually do extreme stuff.
It's like sitting around. But yeah, what was it? There's like a table where like there are a handful of people like sitting around.
A paratrooper.
A
The guy from Deadliest Catch.
And
An executioner, Kerry King.
Oh man, how can you drink that shit? It's
No,
when
it's-
you're young,
I
of
went
course.
through, when I was young, and they were like trying to get us on as a Jaeger band, and it was like fucking, they were handing it to us all the time, and boy, oh boy, man, let me tell you, I have a very, I can trace it back to the day where I began to hate it for sure.
Oh yeah, I think we all
Where
can.
I was in an inch of water in a truck stop in Colorado, no less.
Oh wow.
No.
Just
God.
vomiting all over myself with like caramelized Jaeger vomit already.
Jesus
on my shirt.
Christ. It
That's
sounds
the first time I
vile.
went. First time I went to Colorado. That was it. I drank way too much at our show. I did like 17 stage dives during the set. I was like rambling between the songs that wouldn't shut up. I dumped water on the drummer. I was like, "You look hot." And I was like grabbing my bandmates around the shoulder like Ozzy would or something. Like shit, like that will get you killed in my band. You know?
The fucking Jägermeister, the deprofessionalizer.
Well, I mean, also that you got the altitude on top of it.
Yeah, that was the thing. I had to
too.
like.
That's what I
I
heard.
was time and a half drinking. I didn't really know.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah, it'll fuck
So
you
yeah, I
up.
threw up all over the venue. It was Rock Island or something.
Oh, that was there? Rock Island. Wow, that's a
We were
little
with,
shitty venue.
Every Time I Die and Azalea Dying. And
That's a dead venue now, but yeah, now you guys would be.
it was my
fucking
fault.
Coliseum
They couldn't
here
get
and
the
shit.
stench out of it afterwards.
Rock Island. Wow. Wow. I'm sorry I missed that. Yeah, that sounds insane. But see, I worked at a goth bar during my Jaeger years, and
Oh,
then was
God.
in a goth band that went touring, and yeah, just.
So what does that mean? That you drank it out of like test tubes then?
Or,
Well,
like,
just it was the blood of goth bars.
interesting.
It was, yeah. No, I guess maybe you guys wouldn't know that, but yeah, that
I
goth
wouldn't.
people were way about Jaeger and all the freezing Jaeger machines and do the shit where you put the Jaeger in other drinks, which is
Yeah, that,
we have a Jaeger machine somewhere, a 3-banger that holds
Oh
3
my God.
bottles, makes them all frosty. I will never
Exactly,
need to
yeah.
use that in my entire
No.
life.
I tried it in Red Bull one
Yeah.
time, and it literally tasted like Robitussin. Like it tasted exactly
It's
like
less, it's
Monster.
less offensive in the Jaeger bomb form.
It surprised me.
For a while in BDM, we were doing Jaeger bombs where we put sparks in it instead. So even the Red Bull was
Sparks.
alcoholic.
yeah.
We felt that
Yeah.
Ernest Goes to Jail. That was
Wow, that's what I'm drinking here, fellas. This is just a
What is
straight pint of Jaeger. Now I'm drinking some
Gross.
very,
room temp.
delicious fruity lambic. This stuff is
Nice,
delicious.
nice. That
Very.
is good.
What's up, Shuli?
Did you guys check out the new Atoll track yesterday?
I'm afraid I
No.
haven't yet.
I'm only
Enough,
semi-familiar with it.
All right. Think of everything about slam that is gross or like misogynistic or anything like that, and you remove all that, right? And you replace it with absurdity. You replace it with like test tube monkeys ripping off people's dicks. You replace
Perfect.
it with horses that kick people in the face. You replace it with face hugger aliens, right? They're all about like, it's really just atypical subject matter in a relatively straightforward slam/brutal death metal. But the opening track of their last album, Zoopocalypse, and I think the name of the track is Zoopocalypse, is one of the some of the catchiest fucking shit I've ever heard.
I am mistaken. I do fuck with them. I was thinking of a different band. Now that I see their cover art, I actually think I did that one, the Zoopocalypse, on Megatrends. But
Did you
I
really?
always think I think so. I might be wrong, but yeah, they're super. I was thinking there's like this Christian band called
X-Toll.
X-Toll. That's
X-Toll,
what
yeah.
I thought you were talking
Different.
about them.
Hey man, I fuck with X-Toll. Girl. I'll be the first to tell you.
Totally different vibes.
Yeah, I haven't
Apocalypse
checked out-
rules. The one before that, fucking Fallout
Fallen-
Frenzy. Fallout
Frenzy,
Frenzy.
that's right.
Yeah, I got the version of that that comes in a slime pack because I'm a
looks
hardcore
cool.
fan of Atoll. It's
It
dope,
looks like
man.
a comic book.
They're on, and they've been on Gorehouse for the last few records. Which shout out to Gorehouse for putting out just continuously fucking consistent slam. But now they're on. They've moved on up to Unique Leader. So who's gonna know?
Dude, I've been surprised by Unique Leader lately. Like, obviously, Eric is no longer at the helm. Rest
Yeah.
in peace.
Yeah.
And Jamie Graham has kind of taken over as the dude. But it's cool to see like Extinction AD on the label, kind of bringing like a. That was a wild card.
Yeah,
move
when
for
I
them.
saw that, I was like, "What the fuck is Extinction? Like, a good band, good label, but just not a match that you would typically think of. Like, that's way outside their wheelhouse." And what I don't want to happen is for them to sort of not know what to do with them. I think that kind of happened with Lago, right?
Right. Yeah, like Lago was kind of like too dark for the current.
And
I love the band, dude. Lago's dope.
Dude, the record they put out on fucking Sea of Duress on Unique Leader, that record is absolutely unfuckwithable. Incredible record. But it's just not. It's not.
It's not what Unique Leader kids probably expect now. I think they're more firmly in like the tech death lane than ever. Than, you know what I mean?
Tech death and then deathcore, surprisingly. But the thing is, like, I'm at a point right now where like I have just completely like shirked the notion of deathcore as being like this inherently bad or gross thing or whatever. Like, there are certainly aspects of the trend that get tired, but I think everything music-wise works that way. And there's some sick fucking bands who are making that kind of music, you know?
For sure, I agree.
Yeah, I specifically like how much a lot of sort of the aspects of slam that I love so much, like that really sort of that deep dish pizza production from bands like Analepsy. Right. I love seeing that shit on Deathcore.
In a way,
records.
I kind of feel like modern slam production came from Deathcore. You know what I mean? Like,
in a lot of ways, you look at older slam, you look at like, you know, early Dying Fetus or like other sort of like Eastern, like Esophagothamia or bands like that. But like that shit was a lot dirtier. Old and Internal Bleeding, that first Internal Bleeding record, that first Pyrexia record. Pyrexia is an excellent example. You look at the sound of Sermon of Mockery, right? And then you look at the sound of Gravitas Maximus, which that record kicked my fucking dick in. Absolutely. Yeah. I think it's easily their best record since that first one. Production-wise, completely different animals. Sounds.
That's the what's that band called? Who produced that?
If I can't remember it, I'm just gonna reach out and I'm gonna grab that fucker off the shelf and we're gonna find out who produced this bit. Mixed and mastered at Demigod in Portugal by Miguel Terreso.
Analepsy. There you go. Portugal.
Yeah. Well, whoever does Analepsy, that's good enough for me.
Dude, when I saw those guys live, man, they sounded fucking huge. Probably the best sounding slam band I've seen. Not that I've seen a million of them, honestly. Like, it's still rare to see a brutal death metal band in my life.
Well, and slam is, it's weird to say, and it's going to sound ridiculous, but I almost feel like slam is almost not, I don't think that slam proliferates via live music. I think that when it is played live, people enjoy it, but I don't think that you see like slam tours as much as you see other subgenres of death metal.
Right. You know, I kind of like when at the height of the Obituarist and stuff, like I thought we might see slam tours, you know, I thought that like we're getting close, you know what I mean?
I mean, and maybe we are now. Like I know Snuffed on Sight and Peeling Flesh were on a fucking like a tour in Texas not too long ago. Peeling Flesh is a fucking blast. You've heard them, right? Peeling Flesh is the thug shit. It says on Metal Archives in the lyrical themes, it saes thuggery, and I was like, all right, I'm there. I'm fucking down.
Skullduggery.
They've got samples from like Friday, and like it's heavy as shit. It sounds incredible, and they just put out a winter promo not too long ago, and it's got a track on there called Mr. Nasty Time, and that shit fucking rules.
They're from Oklahoma? I thought they were from Russia.
I think they're from like Tulsa. No, they're on Vile Tapes. So that's the weird thing about Vile Tapes. It's a Russian record label, and like so many fucking bands on there are American. They also got Bludgeoned, which got
Bludgeoned is sick, dude.
John Huber, like that dude. Those two, I liked his I Declare War record, but his two records with Pathology, man, that shit was fucking inhuman.
That was like the best era, you know.
Yeah, some of the
Pathology even.
Some of the lowest fucking like I can't even but like not like that though. It was like gurgles. It was like literally like the microphone was deep down inside of his throat.
Even know how it
was like anatomical sounding.
Those dudes that do the Predator shit too.
Yeah.
I like music that makes me feel terrible.
Well, yeah, and like that's one of the interesting things I think about death metal at this particular juncture in its evolution is that there is a lot of it that's way more acceptable than it's ever been in the past. And like you have these iconic guys who've either written this super fucking brutal shit or performed it, you know, like Corpse Grinder's the perfect example. Like the guy's a fucking teddy bear at this point. He's emblematic of the entire scene. Everybody loves him. He's a family man. He shops at Target. You know, a lot of that scary mystique and shit has kind of been stripped away. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it does leave me looking for that shit that got me hooked the first time I heard death metal. Like, you know.
Oh, for sure. Like the fear factor of like when I heard Cannibal Corpse and was legitimately like, how are they allowed to get away with this? Like, what is...
I've told it a million times. The first death metal record I ever heard was in the basement of a church in El Dorado, Arkansas. A friend of mine had borrowed 2 CDs. The first one was Warpath by 6 Feet Under. The second one was fucking Once Upon the Cross. And like just looking at the cover of Once Upon the Cross, I was like, we shouldn't.
In the church?
Yeah.
I was like, that must have been extra
fucked. We fucked up so bad. But the thing is, like, as scary as it was, I liked it. And that is why I go to
the contraband aspect of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're in, man. You got like the snuff tape passed to you, bro. Make a copy and pass it along.
Yeah, totally.
And that's that's one of the things that I think is really interesting about Fluids. Is one of the things that I think
just in general Fluids.
The band Fluids.
He's purling up.
I shouldn't say. You think you're excited to be here.
He's edging during this.
Yeah,
do it. Right.
Let me see your hands.
Why you can't see my hands, boys.
That's right. You think I'm holding onto the mic stand?
Fucking gross.
Let me drag this from the gutter that you two have.
You can try.
Put this show into. I re-listened to the first Deicide album this week.
How'd it go? Well,
it was fantastic. No, it really brought back like, wow, that album was so shocking and scary when I first heard it.
Dude,
it was so scary.
like, did you hear it right when it came out? Like,
yeah.
Wow, dude.
Which my friend, I had a scumbaggy friend whose parents let him buy scumbaggy shit, so I'd go to his house, and he put that out, and it just scared the shit out of me. And when I listened to it this week, I just realized, like, wow, this is such a great fucking album.
Yeah.
Like, how much of it was just really how dangerous and evil it felt, and it really felt like, good God, this is
that was like the whole stance of the band at first, though. You had him
Yeah.
claiming he's going to kill himself at 33. He's wearing
those photos.
Like, Christ-crushing armor every night. Like, just like
on PBS Live Access,
dude,
no
just
less.
taking it to the utter extreme in the way that, like, you know, Mayhem did in the early days. Totally believing it, just trying to be as extreme as possible, trying to like ruffle as many feathers as possible. Remember when everyone got mad when he like shot a squirrel during an interview?
Oh yeah.
I remember that now. And then I've seen interviews since then where he's been asked about it and said that like they were eating the wiring of something in his
He's a
roof
redneck.
or something.
He's just
like
an
that.
old redneck.
He's a Florida redneck. He's got
Let him shoot a goddamn problematic squirrel.
One of the things that's funny about like legendary death metal singers to me is sort of imagining them in like everyday situations. Glenn Benton probably, up among the very top of those. But there was an interview that I read with him. I want to say it was around the time like Scars of the Crucifix came out. And he was talking about how he caught one of his kids jacking off.
I never heard this.
And he was like, "Is everything working down there?" And the kid was like, "Yeah." And Glenn said, "Good, don't do it again."
Yeah, what are you supposed to say as Glenn Benton to your kid? Keep doing it. Do it more. It's blasphemous.
Do it.
Don't ever stop doing it.
Apparently, he also told one of his kids. One of his kids asked him when he was like a baby or something, like, "What happened to your head?" And he told the kid that he was running in church and fell down. And like, so you've got the two different Glenn Bentons here. You've got like sort of this funny father knows best type thing, and then you've got like this horrible like shame your kid for fucking jacking off, Glenn Benton. Come on.
See, I don't know. This kind of shit makes me respect maniacs like G.G. Allen more, because he was really that guy. I don't know if I like the Glenn Benton who lies to his kids because he's just embarrassed of getting caught, Like I prefer the guy who smears his own shit all over his face and kills himself.
God.
I mean, that's kind of what I thought death metal was at first. Like, the worst people on earth somehow evading capture. And,
while writing songs about openly killing children.
Right, and like when I first listened to it, I thought there was going to be like samples of people dying from like snuffs and shit. Like I imagine it being worse than it was, honestly. Like
when I first saw that first Brujeria record, I was told that was a guy on the cover his head was being held up by the band members because that was someone they had massacred because they are cartel members, and this is just
They did have that vibe going.
Yeah,
they tried to sell that. I remember.
They pushed that out there. But my idiot friends in high school really told me, like, no, this is real. These are cartel guys.
I would have believed that shit. I would have believed that shit.
I would have too. I believe anything.
But when I heard it, I especially believed it because I was like, when I heard that album, it's so underground and raw and shit. I was like, this is real. That's a guy they're slaughtering on the cover. And then you find out it's Shane Embury and dudes from Faith No More and shit.
Yeah.
And then your homie's in there.
My homie.
Your boy.
My boy. Dino?
Your boy. Dino's your boy.
You know I love Dino, man.
I know you love Dino. Yes.
The lethal right arm. You seen that guy's picking arm? It looks like a fucking leg. It looks like
see it.
foghorn leg arm.
It is, man. It's like you look at it and you just have to be in awe. God damn, I love Fear Factory. I make no apology.
It would be a disappointment if he lost weight, honestly.
It would.
I really think so.
In a way, I feel bad because people have been fucking with him about his weight for his entire career. But at the same time, I do feel like he's managed to, deal with it pretty gracefully and just enjoy being himself. Obviously, there's a lot of aspects of Fear Factory that are not very joyous. And all of that has made its way into, the media over the last couple of years. But, hey, Dino, shout out, homie. Hope everything's going good on the road with Soulfly.
He's a big fan of ours.
He is. Dino listens to our show.
He's our first listener.
Mail. Yeah. An interesting thing about that time is that there was just no blueprint whatsoever. And then you also had like a whole lot more isolation, I think, scene-wise. And thinking about like Trey growing up in fucking Florida, being a kid and sort of fucking around with the stuff. At the Gates, when they were like around their first 3 releases.
Hold on a second, Schuler.
Yeah.
Trevor, At the Gates is the Swedish band.
Oh yeah, are you familiar with them?
Melodic style death metal. I think you'd probably like them.
You might be into
them. Out, dude.
I think you might like them. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
With Furicus, The Burning Darkness, and Red in the Sky Is Ours on that wonderful Purgatory Unleashed or whatever, Flames of the End DVD that they put out back when they got back together. Listening to Alf Swinson talk about how like they would listen to shit backwards and then try and play it back, and that's how you get weird songs like The Burning Darkness.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Definitely had a weird like swagger with the earlier lineup, And
the
was
weird,
that all
like
Alf?
churning, fucked up riffs specifically acknowledged that. Is that how you say that? I thought it was
that's how I say it.
Oxypligates. I don't know. Maybe
if you say it 3 times, he stops fighting Superman and he goes back to his dimension. Alf was weird to begin with, right? Like in terms of his writing.
He was a few years older than all the other guys in the band. And I don't think that they ever specifically just outright said, the weirdness left with him. But I mean, fuck. When you listen to With Furicus, The Burning Darkness, and then you listen to Terminal Spirit Disease, like there is clearly a massive shift in sound.
Right. It's definitely a lot more stripped down.
Yeah.
Different.
Terminal Spirit Disease
that fucking song
is so fucking good.
Dude, I think it's as good as Slaughter. Like, I think it should be mentioned just as often. Like,
I think it should be mentioned as often, but I can't say I think it's as good as Slaughter.
It's just not as tight. You can tell
Slaughter of the Soul is
tight.
Slaughter of the Soul is tight.
Maybe a couple more songs would have helped.
Yes.
Demos, like the bonus tracks from The Fear, like I feel like the demos sound better than the record too.
They do. They have like more atmosphere to them a little bit. It's like
the
raw.
tone is really grainy on that record. Like there's like some frequencies in it though, like my ears like, please stop after a while.
Well, it is like that I think goes back to what we were talking about a little while ago, is that there was just no real blueprint or no real sort of best practices for recording this shit in place at that time. Even though At the Gates was,
imagine what studios must have thought of death metal coming in.
At the Gates was definitely,
you hear so many botched records out there too. You know what I mean? That like, all right, we went to this studio that does country. We're called fucking Fetus Eater. They don't know what to do with us.
We got kicked out. The whole Fleming Rasmussen was on the fucking case.
He got his scissors out.
Fleming was like, all right.
Fleming Rasmussen.
It's your boy. Fleming Rasmussen.
Fleming. They dug up Fleming Rasmussen for one of those Evil records where they were trying to sound like Metallica.
That's the one I dabbled in. That one's hard.
It's a good album. I do remember being in high school and being fucked up with my friends, and like the most recent Metallica record at that time was like S&M, which I fucking loved. I skipped school to buy that thing. I remember we were talking to our friends and we were like, what do you think Fleming Rasmussen's up to? Can you imagine? It's just like he was this with a name like that, and then from that
he's eating red cabbage right now?
What? We need to find him. We need to find run down motherfuckers.
Yeah. If there's Rasmus, he's going to do it.
He's going to muse it. Do you need your Rasmus?
Fleming, when you hear this, come talk to us, man. We'd love to have you on. We'd love to shoot the shit about the glory days. I would like to hear about that Evil record.
When you hear this.
Yeah, Fleming's gonna hear
call me
this.
Flem.
We're going to have to hashtag Fleming Rasmussen when this comes out. I wonder if he's one of the vanity checkers who's like, they're talking about me again.
Yeah, every single day you got to look up your name.
Watch him be dead or like in a coma or something, and we're going to end up looking like fucking dicks talking about Fleming.
I saw him recently in one of those, Metallica's been re-releasing all their shit.
Yeah.
These little mini docs. They talk to him. He seems okay.
Okay.
Fleming's doing okay.
Glad you're doing good, Fleming.
Yeah.
Fucking,
Shout out to Flem.
yeah, drink a lot of water, get plenty of sleep. We need you.
Don't muss with the phlegm, they say.
You mustn't.
I don't even remember what we were talking about.
I was actually listening to Edge of Sanity earlier today.
Which stuff?
One of the greatest records ever penned by human beings.
Oh, here we go.
Purgatory
Those
Afterglow.
Crimson guys? Okay,
Purgatory
cool.
Afterglow.
Purgatory Afterglow.
Oh, see, for me, it's Unorthodox, dude. That's my favorite.
Unorthodox is great. The old death metal albums are great. The weird shit where it's like fucking, where 1 minute it's like melodic death metal and then the next song is literally 90s radio rock. Like there's shit on there that sounds like Dinosaur Jr. And the thing is, it all goes together though. Like that's amazing.
You're so much
to
more
me.
open-minded than me.
Dude, like, I'm not the biggest Crimson guy, honestly.
I like Crimson, but I'm
die
not.
for Crimson, but
I don't
I
want
like Crimson too.
I like Crimson 2 more
Two's
than I like
dope.
Crimson.
Yeah, it's crazier.
Yeah,
That's the
me
one.
too,
Raja's
actually.
doing the vocals on that. I don't know if you knew that. That's
What?
the first. Yeah, that's Raja doing all the growls on that album.
Roger Johansson
Yeah,
on
because
Crimson 2?
Yeah, Swano said he kind of gave
Holy
up for a
shit.
while on growling because it hurt his throat so much.
Yeah, dude, holy
Raja.
shit! I had no idea, man.
Yeah. And that's how I actually kind of found out about Raja, because I was obsessed with that album when it came out, and I kept reading interviews with Swano, and he said, yeah, I got this guy Raja, I'm mixing his band, Rib Spreader. So then I went and looked up Rib Spreader, and then
And it was all uphill from there.
10,000 other
baby.
bands.
Like, this is the
I
most
mean, that's
prolific
literally
man
how I
in
got
death
signed to
metal.
Razorback, was because I ended up being friends with Raja.
That's how you found Brunyar too, right? Isn't that how you say his name?
Eventually, yeah.
Yeah.
Like years and years later. Yeah.
Which one? Which Rib Spreader record did you do?
I produced the Van Murders, but I've
Murder.
I've
Okay,
mixed
yes.
a bunch of little songs here and there that might be on different splits. Or
That's the
songs
thing
or
about
whatever.
Rib Spreader. Roger's got a million different fucking bands anyway, but specifically with Rib Spreader and Paganizer, like running down all of their shit is fucking difficult. But because the three of us don't have enough projects going, we should launch yet another sort of documentary called Producing Roger Johansson, where it's just Patrick fucking receiving like these fucking email riff bombs where it's just like, like it's a box of fucking shit that somebody shook up and then
mailed. Can you
mailed.
make a band out of this?
Yeah, can you put something together?
Bro, you're
with
not
it?
kidding.
That to me is interesting though, because that what that tells me is that there is as much of you on that recording as there is him, and I think that is really interesting.
Well, not as much as I'd like to be, because see, a lot of it. See, here's the thing you don't know. The reason why Demiurge fucking rules is because Raja threw a bunch of riffs at Dan Swano. Dan Swano said, "No, bro, listen. Let me put this here. All right, fuck this. Okay, let me play the drums." And he's like, "Oh, sure, go ahead." So then Dan went through, played drums on all that, mixed all of it, added synth to it, and then Raja went, "Oh, that's pretty cool." He goes, "Yeah, now it's fucking awesome." And then now it's this masterpiece.
Final Demiurge record is sick.
Yeah.
Yes, that one is amazing. I like all of them, but that one really.
He's got some pretty fucking lo-fi shit too, man. Like way lower fi than like Rib Spread, like Blood Gut. That shit's borderline unlistenable. Like it sounds like Repulsion. Like it sounds
very grindcore.
It's
That's cool.
rudimentary.
I can get down with that.
No, yeah, like when I say borderline unlistenable, I'm not talking about in a bad way.
In
Like,
a bad way.
Yeah, like it's
You know,
great
I like
shit.
to torture myself.
Yeah,
It's
I like
fucking
shit.
garbage.
I like shit that sucks. Humanity Delete. That was the name of the grind thing that I was.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
right. Yeah.
Humanity Delete. That's what it was. He is to like Swedish death metal what Larry Wang is to slam. Larry Wang is the Roger Johansson of Devin Townsend.
I'm gonna have to diagram that, but
If you want to try and wrap your head around that shit. The ubiquitous Larry Wang. He's
The Roger
fucking
Johansson.
everywhere. I guess Devin Townsend's not really in that boat anymore. He's just pretty much doing like one thing now. But I think I don't know.
I don't know.
I'll shame
keep up with
myself
him
here.
either.
I'll shame myself and say that
Okay.
like I lost all interest after Strapping Young Lad. Like I fucking loved that band at the time, but then after that was over, I was just kind of like,
I never have listened to any of his music. I just like him.
man.
I'll listen to him talk about anything.
You never
I
heard
have-
Strapping Young Lad?
Well, I saw them live, and I was like, okay, I'll go get another beer. He played live here, and this is the show. Okay, like he'd come out like, "Hello, Denver, suck my cock." Suck
That's
my
definitely
cock,
Gene
Denver.
Hooker.
And it's like, okay, who is this? I'm gonna go get a beer. And everyone else was losing their minds, and I was like, wait, isn't that the guy that used to sing for Steve Vai?
Yeah, with a skullet now. I love Strapping Young Lad. Like the first time I heard City, I was just like, this is insane. This is like Fear Factory.
I do like City. City is very. I was gonna say there's a lot of parallels with Fear Factory.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can hear that. Okay, yeah, there was definitely
City is cool. City is
as I understand it, that was sort of the goal. He was like,
really.
He went to Gene and Judd and was like, let's what they did with Demanufacture, let's do this.
Huh. Wow, I'm surprised.
And then the stuff after that was completely different.
Yeah. I mean,
self-titled record was it had more of a death metal feel to it. Alien was just Alien reminds me of like doing Ritalin recreationally. it's fucking insane, man. And it's like he's like bipolar, I think. And went off his meds on purpose and just decided to write like the most batshit fucking record ever. And he did. Like that shit is weird.
I'm just gonna assume that Trevor knows him and has hung out with him because Trevor is world famous. What is he like? You've hung out with him.
I haven't. I've never.
Stop
met
lying
the guy
to us.
before.
Never met Heavy Dev.
Don't lie, because I'll know.
No, I really haven't.
All I see is honesty on that face right now. I think he would tell us. I think he'd tell us.
Dude, I want to meet Chris Reifert the most.
You haven't met him?
No.
Like
He seems like an easygoing guy. Surely you guys have played like the same festivals before and shit like that, right?
No, we haven't really crossed paths in that way.
Really?
I've seen Autopsy before, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
They're one of my absolute favorites.
Yeah, dude, Autopsy's
is he not sociable?
No, he seems great.
He seems like he would, yeah.
Yeah, like anybody I've talked to that's talked to him is like, wow, he's so cool.
Yeah, he seems like a party guy.
And I mean, huge influence on my lyrics.
Really?
Sure.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Oh,
absolutely. Lots of necrophilia, lots of gross.
Yeah, they're big into like the lyrics on Shit Fun that's one of the records that I'll listen to and like literally can't stop myself from fucking laughing out loud.
I love Shit Fun.
I love no
Shit Fun, but I love it.
Well, it's a punk record, man. Like it's an Abscess record. I love it.
Is. Yeah.
I love Shit Fun, but at the same time, I feel like that was them sort of at their most over the top and like obviously scatological. There's a dude eating a piece of shit on the cover of the record, but like fucking on top of the crypt, smoking angel dust. Like that to me, that's death metal.
Scuzz metal. It's like they're just writing all these songs about like crazy homeless drug addicts. It's so scuzzy.
I shit on your grave.
For sure. Yeah, I shit on your grave. Like
I shit on your grave.
It's pretty
dog,
all caps. You know what I'm saying?
Fuck dog. Yeah, man. I love
humiliate your corpse.
I will humiliate your corpse. And it's like that's another thing that I think is cool about Autopsy is just because there's sort of like Obituary in the way that I think that they weren't entirely sure what they wanted to do vocally at first. And so you've got this guy who's just going ape shit and we'll see what happens. And that's how you get a record like Severed Survival that's like funny. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's a fucking killer death metal record. And I love the riffs and I love the vocals, but at the same time, there are places where you go back and you listen to it, sort of having been conditioned by the tradition of other death metal bands in the time since then, and be like, this is hilarious. Okay, I'll do it. All right, okay, he's gonna do it. It's fucking funny. It's funny to me, man.
It's interesting to have a death metal band where the goal isn't heaviness, but it's grossness.
Yeah,
it's like they're not even necessarily going for crushing. It's like
they
just want to gross you out. Give you the heebie-jeebies.
Mental Funerals, like the drums are out of tune. Like, the whole thing sounds like disease itself. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
There's minutes where you're like, this could be Black Sabbath.
They're like, did I get tetanus from listening to this?
It's disgusting. Yeah, it's fucking gross, man.
Sabbath and a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Totally.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
I got into Abscess a little bit as well.
Abscess rips.
I like their later albums. I thought
Abscess is fun.
Really good. They were actually kind of a little heavier, I felt, than Autopsy. More traditionally heavy.
Crustier, kind of.
Yeah, maybe.
I feel like I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I was really into the first record when it came out. Urine Junkies. Seminal Vampires was the second one. That one I was like, that's okay.
Was the first one. Yeah.
Like I didn't want to hear another vocalist singing against Chris. You know what I mean? It took me like way later to realize that it's the guy from Hex and that Hex is tight too. And like,
what was that one? The Crypt Hammer. I can't remember the name.
Horror Hammer. Yeah, that was the one where I was just like, there's some good stuff here, but at the same time, I would prefer an Autopsy record. It blew my mind that they weren't royalty because when they came back, that's how they were greeted. You know, I think a lot of bands that that are idolized now kind of had that unlucky trajectory back then. Like, look at Suffocation. Like
Suffocation.
They honestly didn't have they came back as the band that they should have been the whole time. You know what I mean? Like, expected as much.
Man, working at a record store, I can't tell you how long that just autopsy records were just cut out bin garbage.
That's crazy.
Oh, dude,
Garbage.
I came in at the age where like I couldn't find them, and they were like out of print.
Yeah.
And all I could get intel on was that like it was because they were extreme.
There's
They were
this one
so-
about scat,
There's
bro. It's impossible to
I
find.
can't wait
Guy
to
on
get
the
the poop
covers.
record.
Eating a piece of shit.
I talked
that
about
is-
it so much
Yeah.
that my dad came home with Acts of the Unspeakable for me. He found it at a
Whoa.
used store.
No shit.
And he left it on the counter and like went out to do something. And apparently his plan was to yell at me about it, but he left it out. By the time I'd come home, I'd listened to it 10 times. I like ran up and like praised the shit out of him and gave him a huge
yeah.
hug. And he was like, God damn it, Trevor.
Right.
It's hilarious because you can always go, Dad, I learned it from you. Like,
Yeah.
You always have that to fall back on.
We want to thank you, Mr. Strnad.
Yeah,
This is-
Mr.
no
Dad,
shit.
Brad Strnad. You know, like
That's
it had like behind the lyrics, it had that drawing of like a vagina nailed open.
Yeah,
And then like the
it's
whole
gross.
unfolded cover artwork was like
Yeah,
a
the-
surreal like you know landscape of people. And then you have like the lyrics, like the song "The Act of the Unspeakable" is about cutting the space between the pussy and the asshole.
Ouch.
You know, so this is a lot for Dad to take on in one day. You know? I'm enabling my son to go down the porta
What?
potty.
So
I don't know.
Attic?
My mom would not read my lyrics until like the other day.
Really?
Really?
Out of
And-
just, she was like my baby. I don't want to
No,
see
I
that
think
side of my
she-
baby.
I think she thought it was going to be like, I fucking hate my mom.
It's Receipt. Receipt is close.
Okay, yes, yes.
But then there's so much love in the other songs as well. Again, like don't think for a second that I'm not gonna fucking wig out on both you guys when you're talking about your own shit. And I'm gonna be like, actually, let me correct you with the shit that you've made before because it's burned into my
I
mind.
mean, your parents might deal with this too. Like, you write lyrics sort of fucked up, and they were probably trying to stop you from listening to death metal at some point, and now you're doing it to other people's kids, Patrick.
You're a
Well,
bad man.
This
Bad
is,
influence.
you guys don't understand. You're opening a huge Pandora's box here because this is like my origin story.
Oh,
This is
shit.
My fight with my mother.
I'm ready.
My Gandalf versus Balrog like fight with my mother.
Which one were you?
Well, I was Gandalf. God damn it.
All right.
Defending the metal. My
Fair.
pop is dead, but he was always a big supporter of just whatever I did.
Thanks,
I don't
Pop.
understand it. I don't know what he's doing, but whatever.
You like it. Keep
That's
doing it.
cool though,
He was
man.
the-
Like that's the best kind of parent, I think, is
Yeah.
the one who's able to encourage you in the face of something that they don't like or don't understand.
Right. And he was that completely. He actually had really bad hearing. He was in the Korean War and he worked in
Oh, no shit.
factories his whole life, so he could barely, like, he had that tone deafness that people talk about.
Yeah,
where
yeah.
it's just like you can hear something, but they can't hear what it is.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
literally, the only thing he could listen to and appreciate was Patsy Cline, because he said that, I don't know, like the notes ring out enough and the production, whatever, so like laid back that I can hear what's going on. But the modern music to me is just a bunch of, and he was the guy that had to read your lips in a restaurant because he's like, what, huh? Like he could never understand what you were saying.
Damn.
But he was always super supportive of what I was doing, and like if I showed him any piece of music or me playing guitar, he'd be like, wow. But,
Hell yeah, that's what you're supposed to do.
That's awesome,
yeah,
man.
which was so great. Again, my dad didn't understand what I was doing at all. Total supporter. Totally
Yeah.
loved it.
Every subsequent generation likes something that the previous generation ends up demonizing, right? If we're
Sure.
talking about like dancing in the 50s, just like
Oh, yeah.
dancing in
Yeah,
public, soul,
Elvis, the Beatles.
R&B, yeah, music like that. They were at a time very troubling simply because there was like some kind of suggestion somewhere underneath the music, or like the vibe that it gave your body, the things that
Louie,
made-
Louie, man,
the
look
things
out.
that made your body want to do. And then
I'm
you
getting
get
a
to
bone.
our parents. Then you get to our parents who are like
Yeah.
having to deal with literal songs about like necrophilia and child murder and things like that. So
For the first time.
yeah,
You know what I
on
mean? It's
the
just
one
bullshit.
hand, I feel like I
Yeah.
want to say that I sympathize with them to an extent, because like, how do you negotiate something like that? But then one of the interesting things is, we were told when we were kids, what do you think you'll think of this shit when you grow up? Or, they talk amongst themselves thinking like, is this going to fuck my kid up or whatever? But we're old now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're old enough that we're adults. We have things that we do. I don't think that any of this shit has ever fucked me up that bad. Like
I got fucked up more by the straight world.
yeah, I know, right?
Absolutely.
It's paradoxical because there is something safe about this music. I think that is, on the
Oh,
surface.
for me, it's like a fucking blanket, man. It's
Yeah.
like an old friend, and like
You're talking about three people here who are actually three very polite, very compassionate people. I mean, people would know that from me.
I feel like that.
And we listen to some of the filthiest, most violent, most vile music on the planet. I think it's similar to, you know, that saying where the pessimists are really just disappointed optimists.
I think I've heard something like that, yes.
It's just the same thing in terms of people that like really violent media. I think it's people who are trying to come to terms with violence in the world, not that we like it, not that we're trying to make violent. It's more like, God damn it, I'm so fucking, this is an ugly place.
Yeah,
that we
and
were
when
born into, and this music is the only thing that's really kind of making something about it or out of it. Other music is ignoring it and saying, oh, love me, dude.
Right.
And like, you know, this is about some weird, creepy, horrible, real shit. You know, a lot of it's fantasy shit. It's more like positing what the future of humanity could be. How much of it is apocalyptic? How much of death metal artwork is about this is what we don't want to be happening,
right.
you know, into our world, you know.
Worst case scenario.
Yeah, I think there's so much of that going on.
When you look at a more traditional understanding of music and musical content, when you look at things like lyrics, right? A lot of it is largely celebratory, especially if you're talking about people who grew up in the South and whose parents grew up in the South. Their primary exposure to music early on was hymnal songs, right? All about glorifying God. So like music is definitely a spiritual thing, and even pop music is still about celebrating something, right?
So they might not get musical irony.
Given the way my dad learned to appreciate music growing up in like the early 60s, late 50s, I think that there is a celebratory sort of admiration of lyrical content that generation sort of expects to be a part of music. You show somebody with that understanding of music a song about the killing fields or something awful. You know what I mean? They can't see that as being anything other than some kind of celebration or tacit endorsement or something like that. There is room for sort of the same kind of morbid fascination that we extend to other mediums that are maybe more acceptable, and even if not acceptable, things that they're more aware of, right? Horror
I mean,
movies.
like, look at like how mainstream horror's become in the last 20 years.
Yeah, exactly. You look at horror, and then the next logical step in that evolution of the fact that we are drawn to these dark things, we're drawn to these sort of the morbid aspect of society that we want to voyeuristically look at. We want it to be over there, right? I'm safe from it. I still want to see it. True crime podcasts, right? My wife loves my favorite murder, fucked up, horrible murders, and people listen to it and they love it. And it's so weird to me that is something that popular culture can grasp in a way that they cannot extend to certain death metal things.
BT Dubs, guess whose mom was completely obsessed with murder shows, murder books.
No shit.
My fucking mom, all she did, day and night, serial killer books, serial killer documentaries, 2020, murdered children, had a huge problem with me listening to Danzig.
Interesting. And it maybe that has something to do with it, right? She was familiar enough with those things from that sort of voyeuristic, morbid interest, right? And I feel like that's probably something that people are less comfortable passing on to their children as opposed to like a healthy interest in Star Wars or something like that, right? Trevor, like you said, how mainstream horror movies have become. And then you have others like sort of, you know, true crime podcasts, but also TV shows, right? Fucking Walking Dead, you know?
Any average episode of The Walking Dead now would be rated X.
That shit would never be seen on TV.
X and would be only available on Japanese Laserdisc. It would have been directed by Lucio Fulci. That shit is so violent and gory and insane. They're like vomiting guts and cutting people. Yeah, it's insane. So yeah, it is kind of bizarre that people are still, well, those guys growled in a song. That hurts my feelings.
And I do at the same time, I don't want to sound like fucking Eddie Trunk here. People don't understand it. They hate our shit. They hate us for no reason. And I do think that a lot of understanding of parents who at this point, you know, kids who are in their teens, their parents are like my age or not much older than I am.
Yeah.
I do think that there is a lot more of a progressive understanding of a lot of these things, but I still do think that sort of writ large, the lyrical content of this music is assigned a kind of moral value that a lot of people who listen to it probably, I'm sure there are people out there who listen to this shit and think, yes, I want songs about cutting up women, right?
I'm
sure that they're out there.
That's the thing. We cannot discount that aspect, and I don't. Because I have met my fair share of absolute horrible scumbags in the underground.
That's why I'm not going to sit here and say metal doesn't have this kind of problem or metal doesn't have that kind of problem. Of course it does. Those people are out there, right? And these are things that you know, as a community, it is always beneficial for us to sort of address in the most progressive way that we know how to do. And I think that what that looks like is trying to find a place for all of us to be able to move forward together, rather than saying, fuck that person because of what they listen to, fuck that person who doesn't understand this or that. And we're talking about, in some cases, usually more black metal and death metal, some very, very serious ideological things that are not things that people can get past. And I'm not trying to tell anybody to do that, especially somebody who is directly affected by something like that. For those of us who were able to sort of comfortably watch from the sideline, you disappeared.
Oh, sorry. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can't see you.
Okay.
Right.
Well, it's happening. I'm really glad these talks are happening. Just the talk we're having now.
Sure.
These aren't the kind of talks that were happening in metal 10 years ago.
I don't think so. No.
People in metal now have a conscience. Well, the people who are good people have a conscience about what they're doing. It's also very obvious now the motherfuckers who don't. And it's pretty easy to draw I see, you're one of those people.
We live in a world now where you are closer to your idols than you've ever been, and that can be a dangerous thing. Like, you can be like, this person, like, for me,
for you, bro, you like way too many maniacs. You love everybody.
I do.
The people you love, boy, they're just disappointing you left and right.
Well, not, I have my own sort of way of dealing with that, right? I
like shit that I don't like. And I also hate shit that I like.
And I do. And I feel like one of the most important things that we can do is, so like, that's one of the things about the three of us. There's obviously things I don't know about you guys' backgrounds, but like, I am a person who is not at all threatened by any of the scary shit in the music that I listen to.
Oh, me neither.
That's different. That's different.
I get turned off though.
Right, exactly.
Well,
like, and that's what I'm saying.
Bro, you turn me off.
Get turned off, and you can have a bad taste in your mouth or whatever, but that's never going to be the same as a gay person who hears anti-gay lyrics, as a woman who hears like blatant misogynistic lyrics, as other groups, other marginalized groups who end up seeing like this fucking bold endorsement of an ideology that calls for their extermination in other music, right? I never want to begrudge a person in that position the ability or the right to feel however that makes them feel. It's not my place to tell them how to. I can listen to shit that fucks on my own and enjoy it without necessarily having to perform it. And I think that is part of what is interesting about social media. And all of this information comes to us faster than the logical part of our brain can process it. In the rhetoric field, it's what we call pathos, boys. It's all pathos, right? It's all emotional reaction. That shit always is going to override the logical part of your brain that says, let me try and understand this thing rather than get offended by it. What the next move looks like, I don't know.
Schuler, you are the next move. We're doing it right
stop
here.
that. Well, I guess we're trying to. Yeah, we
See,
are.
that's what I'm saying. You are actually a figure who people who don't like metal will look at and go, well, he seems okay. He seems like I'm not like those other two idiots he's with. He seems like
he's educated.
He seems like he has hate in his heart. I'll stop and listen to him. The other two seem too nice for me.
It's the downfall of the shaved head, man. The downfall of the shaved head.
Then you seduce them by teaching them.
I think that we're making strides in that direction, but I also think, like we said a minute ago, these things are moving at a speed that our brains are not capable of processing, and that's gonna be ugly from time to time. But we have to be able to work
very
with that
quickly. Yeah, but
remember that conversation we had last time where we said we're not gonna bring any super serious shit into this. And look at what we did with the last 30 minutes. I'm really sorry. I feel like I steered us in that direction.
I'm going to edit that whole thing out.
I figured so. But like, I still appreciate the fact that the three of us were able to have that conversation.
I think you are clearly our face man.
Oh, man.
Hey, and he's our radio guy, too. Like,
exactly.
That voice.
Yeah, you're the radio guy.
Much. Like, you're killing it.
Trevor's the sex appeal. I'm the muscle.
Dulcet tones. All right. Tom G. Warrior, when you listen to this,
we love you, God damn it. We love you. Thank you. Yes. Oh wait, no, that's a different band. That's Usurper.
He's got
Usurper from Chicago tried to start a new Celtic Frost thing. They do hey. I'll just go back to the.
It's all about impieties.
For some reason, the evil falsetto to me works. Like, I find that evil. Like,
King Diamond,
sinister,
man.
Dude. It's like
I don't
pointy devil fonts.
It's creepy.
Like.
I'm so evil that I'll sound wimpy. I don't care. Man, I haven't listened to Macabre in forever. The last
Zodiac speaking.
Was Wait, the last one was the one about Vlad the Impaler?
No, the front was like a carnival.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
no, I think I
carnival
missed
one.
it.
Yeah, it came out like
And
last
the one
year.
before
the
that
year
was like
before.
the killers in history. Kind of.
My
Yeah.
good buddy Jeff produced that one, the one with the killers through history, and it was like
No
a huge
shit.
dream of his life to. Yeah, he's been a fan of theirs forever.
Yeah.
and he got to produce, record it, and mix it. It was fucking awesome. Like, I mean, literally grew up listening to him. So huge win for him. My buddy Jeff Montgomery.
On that note, I got to take off.
All right, fellas.
Well said.
This is every time we get together, I learn more. This is
All
great.
right, homies, this has been a blast, and
Yep.
I am looking forward to doing it again soon. Y'all have a good night, man. Patrick, you have a good day. It's like fucking
Thank
what,
you.
3 o'clock?
Trevor, I'm glad you're getting settled in, man. That moving sucks. I know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the end of the tunnel is within sight.
The only thing that sucks is the heat.
Real bad swamp nuts in the summer, brother. It's gonna be rough.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Well, that'll contribute to the next Black Dahlia lyrics.
Yeah.
You know,
The whole record about chafing.
I know.
Cerebral enchafement.
Talk
Yeah,
about it
man.
later.
Have fun. Peace out, dude.